Hi, Sean Still, and in this video I am going to show you how we add an issue to a active sprint, as well as the impact that that has on our burn down chart. Okay, so we're going to navigate to our test project, and when we look at the board, we can see that we have completed everything. Um, Yet we still have some time left in the sprint, so we have a decision to make. Do we have enough time to take on another story and make a commitment to that story and deliver it by the end of the sprint? Um, so what we need to do, actually before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the burn down chart and what that looks like when a team has run out of work. All right, so you can see where we started off. We had a series of activities that led us down to a point where we reached 0, and you can still see that we have some time left in our sprint. So we need to consider bringing in a story to our active sprint. And we go to the backlog, and remember at the top is always going to be our active sprint. But all of our stories in there are completed, and you can see that right here in the numbers. You can see that 0 of 32 points are in progress, that 32 of 32 points have been completed. Pardon me. So the team or select team members can huddle up and decide on what they want to do to hopefully keep the team rolling and also have something that they can commit to. So this is where the team can get together and do some negotiation with the product owner. Now, hopefully, in the next planned sprint, the stories have all been groomed and they have been properly prioritized. So obviously the story at the top is the one that we want to focus on first because it's the one that's been identified by the team and by the product owner as being the highest priority story. But the team looks at this story and they say, well, it's a 2, and that's probably a little bit low for us. We think that we can take in something a little bit bigger. So they come down to the next story and they see it's a 5, and they go, well, that's a little bit too big for us. That's not something that we can commit to. So they keep looking and they come to the next highest priority story, which is a 3, and they say, yeah, that is something that we are comfortable with committing to. We think that it fits very well into the time frame that we have left. So bringing a story into an active sprint, really, really simple. There's a couple different ways that we can do it. We can drag and drop it into the active sprint, just like that. Or we can right click and send it to a particular one. And in this case, what I'm going to do is, rather than drag it and drop it, I'm just going to right click. I'm going to select day 1 certain, which is our active sprint. And notice as soon as I do that, Jira gives me a notice to say, hey, you are actually affecting the scope of your sprint. Is that something that you really want to do? So it gives you an opportunity to stop and think about it for a moment and say, is this something I want to do? Hopefully you do take that time to ask yourself that particular question. In this case, we have decided and we say, yep, that is what we want to do. So we go ahead and we hit confirm. And now we'll go back to our active sprint board and we can see that there we go. We've got the story in our active sprint, and now we can begin to transition it across our board. But lo and behold, this story actually moved a little bit faster than the team originally thought that it would. So they think that they might have some extra time. Oh, before we do that, let's go and take a look at what the impact to the burn down chart was, because remember, burn down chart is one of our key metrics, one of our key reporting tools to understand the health of the sprint. And you can see how the sprint was progressing very, very nicely. We can see all the data points that led us to that. And we hit 0, but now you can see that we ticked up. And now the line is progressing forward again. So let's go back to our active sprint board, and again, the story that the team pulled in actually progressed in this scenario. The story progressed a lot faster than the team originally thought it would. So they're even considering bringing in another story. So this is where we go back to the backlog again. All right, working from the top down, the team looks at it and says, well, this is the highest value story based on the priorities that the team and the product owner have negotiated. And the team looks and they see the 2-point story and they go, yeah, that is something that we do believe that we can commit to. So it's agreed upon, and now the story is going to be added to the active sprint. And I'm going to do that just by simply dragging and dropping it into our active sprint. We're going to get the message again saying from Jared, basically telling us, hey, hang on a second here. You're going to affect the scope of your sprint. Is that truly something that you want to do? We are going to say yes and confirm it. We go back to our active sprint and we can see that the story we pulled in is now there. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to progress the story all the way across. We're going to then go back to our reports and we're going to see how this has affected our burn down chart. And right now you can see how it has affected our burn down chart. As the story is completed, we went down to 0, and now we're actually beginning to come back up. And so we're trying to get from this point down to our 0 point again. So that is how you add a story to an active sprint, and that is also the impact it has on the burn down chart. Thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you in the next video.